All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something you might have felt but couldn't quite put your finger on. This quiet, almost invisible pattern where highly intelligent people start to pull back from the world. And no, it's not about being antisocial or angry. It's actually something way more complex. You find yourself responding less. You decline invitations more often. You simply grew tired. It just happens, right? There's no big blowout, no major drama. It's just a slow fade, a quiet, steady retreat. If you're nodding along right now, I want you to know you are so not alone. This is an incredibly common experience. It's not some personal flaw, it's a real psychological process. And it has a name, and more importantly, a reason. So what is this quiet withdrawal really? It's not some big dramatic decision you make one day. It's more like a slow, unconscious process where your mind starts regulating things behind the scenes. And this is the most important thing to get right off the bat. This distancing you feel, it's not coming from a place of anger or dislike. It's a calibration. Your mind is just trying to adjust the settings to regulate all the incoming data. You know, there's actually a term for this: psychological saturation. Just think of your mind as a laptop with way too many tabs open. It's so busy processing information that it starts to automatically close some of those tabs, especially the social ones, just to save on battery. It's a protective measure, not a defect. Okay, so to really understand why this happens, we have to look under the hood at just how much work goes into a simple conversation. It's a massive cognitive load, way more than you think. I mean, look at all this. This is the invisible work your brain is doing. It's not just hearing words. You're tracking tiny facial expressions. You're sensing when someone's story doesn't quite add up. You're spotting holes in their logic, reading between the lines, and even feeling the emotional vibe in the room, all at the same time. That is so mentally expensive. And this comparison just nails it, doesn't it? For some people, it's a casual chat. For you, it's like running a high-powered analytics program in the background, constantly processing data. It's no wonder that a social event that energizes someone else can leave you feeling completely drained. And this overload often leads to a really predictable cycle. It starts with you craving deep, meaningful conversation, but instead you keep running into surface-level small talk. That creates what's called a depth mismatch. And when that happens over and over again, that quiet withdrawal starts to feel like the only seen choice. And as if that wasn't enough, there's the fatigue of filtering. You know, that feeling of being too much or too intense. So you start to dial yourself down, to adjust your personality, to make it more digestible for the room. And that performance, day in and day out, is just profoundly exhausting. And here's where it gets really tricky. Because the very act of trying to protect your energy, well, it has a consequence, a big one, an often painful one. Think about this, your own inner world, your thoughts, your ideas. It's an incredibly rich and rewarding place to be, which means that any social interaction has to compete with that. If a conversation out there isn't stimulating, your brain will just default to the much more interesting conversation happening inside your own head. And you know, for so many people, this pattern started a long, long time ago. Maybe as a kid, you just felt different. Then, as a young adult, you learned to either put on a mask to fit in or just isolate yourself to cope. And now you might be in a state of anticipatory withdrawal, pulling back before you even get in the game, just to avoid that feeling of being misunderstood one more time. So this is the trade-off. It's stark when you see it laid out like this. On one hand, yes, you gain so much. You preserve your mental energy, you get mental clarity, you create this incredible internal sanctuary. But look at what you lose. That richness in your relationships, those moments of spontaneous connection. And you limit access to your own emotions and those of others. And that leads us to a pretty heavy insight. That shield you put up to protect yourself, if you're not careful, it doesn't just protect you. It becomes a prison. An intelligence that isn't consciously regulated can slowly evolve into a deep, profound intellectual loneliness. But, and this is a huge but, this is the turning point. This is where we flip the script on this entire experience. What if this withdrawal isn't a problem we need to fix? What if it's actually vital information? Let this one really sink in for a second. Distance itself is not a pathology. It is a signal. This is the whole key. Your withdrawal isn't a sickness. It's your own mind sending you a powerful, important message. So what's the message? It's telling you exactly what you need. It's a giant, blinking sign saying you are craving more depth in your conversations, better alignment with the people you spend time with, more intellectual stimulation, and way more authenticity in your connections. And that leads us to the final piece, the empowering part. The answer isn't to force yourself to be more social or to go to more parties. It's about completely redefining what connection actually means to you. Just look at the shift in perspective. The old goal was all about quantity, right? More people, more invites, more visibility. But the real goal, the one that's actually going to make you feel connected, is all about quality. It's about finding better resonance, deeper alignment, and true authenticity. So here's your new toolkit. From now on, before you automatically pull back, just pause. Ask yourself, okay, what am I really feeling? Is this just physical exhaustion? Is this a depth mismatch? Am I just overstimulated? Or is this a fundamental misalignment of who I am and who I'm with? Getting specific gives you the power to be strategic. And this is the ultimate reframe, the big idea to walk away with. The goal is not and has never been permanent isolation. It's about calibrated proximity. It's about skillfully and intentionally designing a social life that honors your energy while still making room for those deep, meaningful connections you crave. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. That distance you've been creating, is it really a loss? Or could it be a refinement? A strategic move to finally curate a life that actually fits the brilliant way your mind works?